SLT Mobitel, the connection.
මෙම විශේෂ සන්ලයිට් නිෂ්පාදන මිලදීගෙන ශ්‍රී ලාංකේය මනුදම්වියමන අපි සවිමත් කරමු. සන්ලයිට් කෙයා.
Tonight, good news, bad news. No black fungus in Sri Lanka as feared earlier, but the opposition leader contracts COVID-19. Giving clarity, the chief of the National Operations Centre for the Prevention of COVID-19 explains the purpose of the planned movement relief on Tuesday amid PHI's call for a lengthy travel restriction.
That is purely for some people who are not being able to get their foodstuff or medicine during last 3 days, and this is not for everyone.
Take guard. Deluge to worsen in the coming days. This Sunday, the 23rd of May, 2021.
From AdaDerana, this is AdaDerana First at 9. Live from Studio 24 in Colombo.
Good evening and welcome to First at 9. I'm Dhammika Kanaka. Now, one of Sri Lanka's biggest fears, the presence of the black fungus in the island, which has stirred quite a storm in India, was allayed today. Deputy Director General of Education and Research at the Ministry of Health, Dr. Hemantha said that experts have confirmed that the infection in question reported from Ampara was not a result of the black fungus, or also known as mucormycosis. Meanwhile, there was confirmation of a rather high-profile COVID infection today as well, and that is of opposition leader SAJITH PREMADASA.
The feared rare black fungus among COVID-19 patients that has claimed the lives of 219 persons in India was allegedly reported in Sri Lanka yesterday. It was initially said that a black fungus incident was reported from Ampara. However, speaking to First at 9, Deputy Director General of Education and Research at the Ministry of Health, Dr. Hemantha rubbished the claims of the black fungus discovery in the island. He said that experts have verified that the infection in question, found recorded from Ampara, is not a result of the black fungus. Dr. Herath also noted that further information on the matter will be provided to the public in the near future. Meanwhile, yesterday, Sri Lanka saw its daily COVID-19 caseload dip below 3,000 after 3 consecutive days. All 25 districts in the island reported a total of 2,909 new COVID-19 cases. The Colombo district reported the highest number of fresh infections with 556. As a whole, the Western Province confirmed 1,317 infections. The Kalutara district was the second on the list of district-based cases with 407, while the Gampha district reported 354 infections, while 207 infections were reported from Kurunegala. There were 157 cases from Kandy and 133 from Matara. The district of Kegol confirmed 120 infections, while Ratnapura confirmed 107 infections yesterday. A further 632 new cases were recorded across 16 other districts. Yesterday's caseload also included 3 imported cases. As for today, 2,254 new COVID-19 infections have been confirmed so far. Meanwhile, leader of the opposition SAJITH PREMADASA and his wife have tested positive for COVID-19. Reportedly, Premadasa's wife had been hospitalized on the 19th of May with COVID-19 symptoms, following which she had tested positive for the virus. As required by health guidelines, the Samagi Janabalawegaya leader too had undergone a PCR test, which had confirmed that he too had contracted the novel coronavirus. As such, Sergeant-at-Arms of the Parliament Narendra Fernando stated that movements of the opposition leader in the Parliament will be monitored through CCTV footage in order to identify his contacts. Following this, all identified close contacts will be informed to take necessary action based on guidelines issued by the health authorities. The opposition leader becomes the most high-profile patient to contract COVID-19 in the island. In the meantime, the Chinese embassy in Colombo said today that a consignment of 500,000 doses of the Sinopharm vaccine is in the process of taking wing to Sri Lanka. A tweet from its official account noted that 500,000 Sinopharm vaccine doses and 502,400 syringes have been packed and delivered to the Beijing International Airport today intended for Sri Lanka. It added that people from both sides are working around the clock for an early delivery of the vaccine to the island. In terms of the country's vaccination drive, 5,600 persons were administered with the second dose of the AstraZeneca vaccine yesterday, taking the number of people to be fully immunized to 325,796. In the meantime, the number of people to be given the Sinopharm jab rose by 10,412 yesterday. 511,905 persons in total have received the China-manufactured vaccine so far. In other developments, British health authorities say that 2 doses of vaccine are effective against the Indian variant of COVID-19, similar to the response against the UK variant. A study by public health officials in England have found that the Pfizer-BioNTech vaccine was 88% effective against the Indian variant 2 weeks after the second dose. The Pfizer vaccine had measured 93% effectiveness against the Kent strain, which is Britain's most dominant COVID variant. 2 doses of the AstraZeneca vaccine were found to be 60% effective against the Indian variant, compared with 66% effectiveness against the Kent variant. Given that Sri Lanka is battling the UK variant of the virus at present and is using the AstraZeneca vaccine in its national immunization program, the finding is welcome news. Sri Lanka's National Medicines Regulatory Authority has also given the emergency use approval for the Pfizer-BioNTech vaccine as well.
We've all been concerned about this new variant we've seen from India, and what this shows us is that whilst the protection of one vaccine is a little lower, the protection from 2 vaccines is essentially the same. And the message for everybody watching this, which comes from this data, is that getting the second jab is vital.
So B6172, the new variant from India, has a similar vaccine effectiveness compared to the variant that's been circulating for the last 6 months in this country.
In the meantime, yesterday, Sri Lanka reported its highest ever daily number of COVID-19 related deaths. Following the confirmation of 46 fatalities, the island's COVID death toll jumped to 1,178. The 46 deaths had occurred between the 16th and the 22nd of May. 35 of the victims had died due to COVID pneumonia, while the remaining had perished due to underlying health conditions in addition to COVID pneumonia. 15 victims had succumbed to the virus on the 20th of this month, while 10 had died on the 21st. 8 deaths had occurred on the 19th, while there had been 8 fatalities on the 18th and the 17th. The remaining 5 victims had died on the 22nd and the 16th of May.
මේ ඉහළ යමින් තියෙන මරණ සංඛ්‍යාව පාලනය කර ගැනීම සඳහා අපි මහජනතාවගෙන් ඉල්ලනවා අපි අවදානම් කණ්ඩායම් යම් සැකසහිත රෝග ලක්ෂණයක් තියෙනවා නම් ඉතාම කන්නමින් තමන්ගේ කොට්ටාශ භාර මහජන සෞඛ්‍ය පරීක්ෂකවරයාට දැනුම් දෙන්න කටයුතු කරන්න. ඒ වගේම අපි සෞඛ්‍ය අමාත්‍යාංශය සහ රජයේ පාර්ශවයෙන් ඉල්ලනවා අපිට ශ්‍රේෂ්ඨ මට්ටමේ ඉන්න මේ රෝග ලක්ෂණ සම්බන්ධව පැමිණිලි කරන අයවලුන් රෝහල්ගත කිරීම සඳහා අවශ්‍ය ගිලන් රට පහසුකම් ප්‍රමාණවත් ලෙස ඉහළ නංවන්න. ඒ වගේම රෝහල් තුළට මෙවැනි සැකසහිත රෝගියෙක් ඇතුළත් කර ගැනීම සඳහා පවතින දීර්ඝ ගැටලු සහගත ක්‍රියාවලිය අවම කරලා ඉතාම කෙටි වේලාවකින් රෝගිය ඇතුළත් කර ගැනීම සඳහා හැකි පහසුකම් සලසන්න කියන ඉල්ලීම අපි කරනවා.
Meanwhile, 1,612 COVID-19 patients were confirmed to have recovered from the novel coronavirus today, raising the island's overall recoveries to 128,607. Currently, 33,711 COVID-19 patients are receiving treatment at hospitals.
කාලගුණය කොහොමුණත් රයිනෝ නං වහලට සේෆ් තමයි මුළු ගෙදරම.
Now then, Chief of the National Operations Centre for Prevention of COVID-19, Army Commander General Shavindra Silva says that the window of movement planned for Tuesday is only for people who require to replenish their supplies. He adds that only outlets selling essential goods should be opened when travel restrictions are relaxed.
On the 21st of May at 11 p.m, an island-wide travel restriction was imposed in order to control the upsurge in the COVID-19 infections, with the daily caseload either being on the proximity of 3,000 or even over 3,000. These restrictions put in place were expected to remain in place until 4 a.m. on the 28th of May. However, the public will be given a window of movement from 11 a.m. to 4 p.m. on Tuesday the 25th. As it was announced yesterday, only one person from each household will be permitted to venture out during that time period. What's more, the Department of Excise has announced that all licensed liquor sales outlets will be remain closed on the 25th. Speaking to First and 9, Chief of the National Operations Centre for the Prevention of COVID-19, Army Commander General Shavindra Silva explained why a window of movement was provided.
That is purely for some people who are not being able to get their foodstuff or medicine during last 3 days, and this is not for everyone. We believe that most of the population got relief as we inform this well in advance. However, there are people who cannot afford to keep stuff continuous for 7 days. So thereby this was given opportunity for that type of people. And we request the people of the country to remain in their houses without coming onto the roads. And we believe that all the shops in the country will be open. And this is only the shops who got food items or medicine will be open.
As for the situation on the 28th of May, the Army commander had this to say.
For 28th, we are too early to tell. Tomorrow and coming days, we'll be meeting with His Excellency the President and the COVID committee. It will be discussed at the COVID committee, the present situation, and especially in regard to COVID, as to what we should do in coming days. So after 28th, what we are going to do will be discussed, and thereafter will be informed to the public well in advance so that people have enough time to get ready for that.
In the meantime, the police continue to crack down on violators of the quarantine regulations. Vehicles and persons taking to the roads are checked round the clock to ensure only permitted persons travel during the period of restrictions. Despite repeated notices and warnings, some people still violate the measures put in place for their own safety. People flocked near shops in Balangoda in Ratnapura last night, even though movements were prohibited.
Local police officers and intelligence services have reported that, especially in the Colombo city and suburb area, some persons or the inmates of the area violate quarantine rules and regulations. They conduct meetings and other activities along with large number of people, and public gatherings are said to be conducted in areas where the flats and Watu houses are situated. So therefore we are going to conduct a special operations in the areas, especially in the Colombo city and in the suburb areas, by using the modern technology, especially the drone cameras. The STF and local police are expecting to conduct these operations in Colombo city and in the suburbs areas.
In the meantime, the Public Health Inspectors Union reviewed calls for an extended period of restrictions which go beyond the time period planned at present.
දැනට ආරම්භ කරලා තියෙන සංචරණ සීමා පැනවීම යම් තරමකට අපිට මේ වැඩි වෙමින් තියෙන තත්ත්වය පාලනය කර ගැනීම සඳහා උදව්වක් වෙනවා. නමුත් මේ දින සංඛ්‍යාව ප්‍රමාණවත් නැහැ කියන එක පේන්න තියෙනවා. මුළු රටම අවදානමකට ගියපු අවස්ථාවක්. ඒ නිසා අවම වශයෙන් සති දෙකකට එහා ගියපු කාල සීමාවක් නිරෝධායන ඉදිරි නීතිය හෝ රටම තුලම සංචරණ සීමා පැනවීමක් කළ යුතුයි කියලා අපි විශ්වාස කරනවා.
In other developments, Minister of Trade Dr. Bandalu Gunawardena visited several wholesale storage facilities in Petta and Paliagoda to inspect whether adequate stocks of essential food items are available to meet the public demand during the pandemic situation.
අත්‍යවශ්‍ය පරිභෝජන භාණ්ඩ සියල්ලම පායේ ඉංගියකින් තොරව තව මාසයකට ප්‍රමාණවත් භාණ්ඩ තොග ගබඩා කරලා තිබෙනවා. උදේ සිට සවස 5 5 වෙනතෙක් පිටකොටුවේ සියලුම තොග වෙළඳ සෙල් විවෘතව තියෙනවා.
සංචරණ සීමා දීර්ඝ කරලා තියෙනවා. ඒ බඩු තොග පාරිභෝගික අතරට යන්න යාන්ත්‍රණයේ කිසියම් වැඩපිළිවෙලක් නැහැනේ.
ඒ පිළිබඳ සම්පූර්ණ වගකීම දරන්නේ දිස්ත්‍රික්ක ලේකම්වරයා. දිස්ත්‍රික්ක ලේකම්වරයාට තියෙනවා ප්‍රාදේශීය ලේකම්වරු. ප්‍රාදේශීය ලේකම් විසින් ගෙන්ගෙට ගිහිල්ලා භාණ්ඩ අලෙවි කිරීම සඳහා අවශ්‍ය බලපත්‍ර ලබා දීලා තියෙනවා. ඒවා ලියාපදිංචි කරගෙන තියෙනවා. ඒ අනුව සිද්ධ වෙනවා.
පෞද්ගලිකව අපි අත්විඳිනවා එහෙම වෙන්නේ නැහැ කියන එක.
ඒ පිළිබඳ තමන් පදිංචි ප්‍රදේශයේ ඉන්න ප්‍රාදේශීය ලේකම්ට කතා කරන්න.
In the meantime, the Paliagoda fish market remained open for wholesale trade during the day. Further, the market will remain open tomorrow and the day after, with retail trade allowed there on Tuesday.
Now then, brace for the rains. That's the message from the Department of Meteorology as the southwest monsoon is gradually taking hold of the island. The rains are forecast to intensify in the coming days, and members of the public are urged to be vigilant for any signs of landslides. 6 districts are issued the warning.
With the southwest monsoon being gradually established in the island, the showery conditions that prevail during the day is expected to enhance tomorrow and the day after.
There is a low pressure area in the south central Bay of Bengal now. It is still processed and there will be expected further development of the system into the depression today. So under the influence of the system, our wind and shower conditions expected to enhance Rhode Island next 2 days, especially 24th, 25th and 26th May. We are expecting heavy showers especially in the southwestern part of the country, especially western, central, Sabaragamu and southern province, and also the some part of the northwestern province. Some area can be expected more than 100 millimeter rainfall in next few days.
Meanwhile, the rains over the last few days have taken its toll in some areas. A section of the road from Bogahavala to Hatangala in Nimaduwa in Gaul had collapsed due to the inclement weather. Elsewhere in Kotagala, 17 estate workers were admitted to the divisional hospital there after they were struck by lightning. Taking the country's current weather situation into account, the National Building Research Organisation has issued landslide warnings for Gaul, Kalutara, Kegaul, Nuwara and Ratnapura districts.
If any signs been observed, so they need to contact the NBRO at the ground level or the 117 call center or the district disaster management units. They are continuously working 24/7 basis with the national support of the emergency operations center and the 117 call center. So people has to be very vigilant. With heavy rainfall is expected and people need to pay attention to avoid the lightning damages as well. So the military and the police and the equipment all been standby at the locations with our search and rescue.
In the meantime, in order to face any disaster situation during the prevailing weather condition, the Sri Lanka Air Force has deployed a jet Beechcraft 200 model to inspect the weather situation from air. What's more, it has also deployed 2 Bell 412 helicopters, 4 Bell 212 helicopters as well as 2 Mi-17 helicopters to be used in rescue operations if needed.
Our own humanitarian arm, AdaDerana, recently launched an initiative to provide essential food items for the families affected due to the COVID-19 pandemic, as well as to provide necessary equipment to hospitals treating COVID-19 patients. Partnering with Dialogue, the project was worked off for the 6th consecutive day today. Accordingly, equipment were donated to the Colombo South Teaching Hospital. Further, dry rations were also provided during the day to people in several areas of the island who are severely affected by the COVID-19 pandemic. This initiative with Dialogue is expected to continue its humanitarian efforts further in the future. We will see you once more on the other side of this break. Stay with us. Welcome back. This is First at 9. Now, Chairman of the PUTTALAM Urban Council, ABDUL BAIZ, has passed away at the age of 52. He had passed away following a motor accident which took place today. The deceased politician was a former Member of Parliament representing the PUTTALAM electoral district and a former Deputy Minister. He has also served as the national organizer of the Sri Lanka Muslim Congress. Market experts say that the volatility in the all-share price index owing to the COVID-19 situation in Sri Lanka will continue into the remainder of the week as well. What's more, the volatility is even expected to flow into the next week. The all-share price index closed weaker last Friday at 7,220.72, while the S&P SL20 index 2 ended lower at 2,900.34. Now here's Dimantha Matthew to tell us what to expect at the Colombo Stock Exchange in the coming week.
We feel that the volatility in the index is likely to continue and it will heavily depend again on the COVID-19 situations. What we are experiencing in this week is it will heavily depend on how the week extends and what additional measures the government is likely to take. So depending on that, there could be further volatility in the index, and we feel that this volatility is likely to continue throughout the week. What we are experiencing is that the earnings season is continuing and the upcoming week is the last week for all the results to be released. So we are expecting a bulk amount of results to be released, and we feel that most of the material sector, export sector, counters are likely to do well, and in addition to that, banking and insurance are also likely to do well. With that, we feel that buying interest is likely to remain in these few sectors and especially export related counters.
And that's it from all of us here at First at 9. Thanks for watching. Bye-bye.